That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Borderlands has just set a 2024 box office record. Well done. Well done. Big time to break some records. We're in the spirit of the Olympics. Get that gold medal. Although it's not the record they were probably hoping to get. Instead of the Simone Biles kind of records, it was more like the Aussie breakdancing girl kind of records. Ray gun. It's the Ray gun record that they just got.
Ray gun? Oh, come on.
You know we're going to make jokes about that. So, Borderlands. Now look, to put this in perspective, most movies take a drop, what you expect to see from weekend 1 to weekend 2, under normal circumstances, is anyway between a 50 and 60% drop. That is normal. If you get under a 50% drop, that's considered incredible from weekend 1 to weekend 2. If you take more than a 60% drop, that is worrisome. Borderlands just took a 72% drop from weekend 1 to weekend 2. What makes that even worse is that sometimes you can expect a movie that does massive business in its first weekend to maybe have a larger than normal second weekend drop off because everybody's already seen it. Spider-Man No Way Home. I believe that movie took a 70% drop in its second weekend. Well, that's not so bad when you consider the fact that it had one of the biggest opening weekends of all time and everybody had already seen it. With Borderlands, it only made $8.8 million in its opening weekend and nobody went to go see it. So you'd think getting like that 50% drop might be within range, but even though it only had $8.8 million in its opening weekend, it followed up with just over $2 million in its second weekend. A little over $2 million in its second weekend. To put that into a little bit of perspective, in its second weekend, Borderlands dropped to number 10 on the box office. Number 10 in its second weekend. It has now, worldwide, made $18 million.
Yeah.
$18 million after 2 weekends worldwide on a budget of $115 million and a marketing budget of $30 million. This is why when people would go, why did Warner Brothers pull the plug on Batgirl? This is why. Because if they had just pulled the plug on this movie, yeah, they would have lost the $115 million. But they wouldn't have lost the $30 million they spent on marketing the film. And as of right now, Borderlands is not going to even make back the marketing budget of this movie. And it officially now set the record for the year as the biggest wide release Hollywood film second weekend drop off. Here is your list of honorees on that list. Madam Web took a 61.4% drop from weekend 1 to weekend 2. Argyle with my man, my boy, Henry Cavill, took a terrible movie, by the way, took a 64.2% drop. Fly Me to the Moon took a 64.8% drop.
Oh, wow.
Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire took a 65.4% drop. The Bike Riders, which nobody even knew it was coming out because it was supposed to come out like a year ago. Anyway, Bike Riders took a 65.9% drop. Maxine took a 69.1% drop.
Perfect drop for Maxine.
Such a perfect drop for Triple Xine. And now the record holder, the gold medal.
Number one
with
top of the mountain.
Bullet.
The king.
Borderlands. With a drop of 72%.
They're looking down at that box office drop.
They're looking at how can you see how low our box office has gone? No, we can't see the bottom. I mean, seriously, it's astonishing when you think that we're kind of in I'm not going to say the golden age yet. We haven't got there yet, but we're entering into a much better age for video game adaptations. You've got 2 Academy Award winners in it. Mm-hmm. You got an incredibly popular Kevin Hart in it. I mean, nobody expected this movie to make $400 million. Let's just be honest. Nobody ever expected it to make $400 million. But if you had asked me, now, and remember, months ago I said, I'm a big Eli Roth fan, but I don't think anybody's going to go see this. But even if you had asked me, okay, John, you're saying no one's going to go see it, but how much do you think, if you'd asked me this a couple of months ago, you don't think anybody's going to see it, but how much do you think ultimately it makes? I would have said 200 might be possible. Maybe 150, which would have been a disaster. 150 million would have been a disaster for it. But I would have said, yeah. $18 million after 2 weekends on a $115 million movie with a large, wide release, opened in over 3,100 screens in North America and didn't lose any of those screens. Bring this up again. In its opening weekend, it was in 1,325 screens. Didn't lose any screens. Second weekend, still 3,125.
If this game were being played like the kids play Fortnite these days, even if it was a bad movie, it probably would have made more. It's just that, no, I don't think anyone's playing Borderlands.
I don't know that that's true. Now, for instance, take for example, we are constantly faced with people who bring up stuff. Well, this thing, which is super popular, if it does a movie, it's going to be huge. You know, we've seen that with Pokemon. Didn't end up being true. We saw that with Dragon Ball. Didn't end up being true. Who's the most successful YouTuber in the world of all time?
Mr. Beast?
The Ryan Kid.
Oh, Ryan, the Ryan's World.
Yeah, Ryan's
the
World.
Little Filipino kid.
The toy kid.
Yeah.
He put out a movie this week. Did you know that?
Too late, though.
Oh, dude, that movie, that trailer looks
You know how much money that movie made? $400,000.
Wow. That's a lot of lumpia.
That's a lot of chicken adobo. You can bust out the hala hala with that.
$400 worth.
400,000. I mean, just because the kid was ridiculously popular on YouTube didn't translate.
Yeah.
Now, would a Fortnite movie have done better than 18
$20 million at least?
Sure. Yeah. I'll concede.
At least go
to
with that. $20 million.
At least 20. Maybe
at
even,
least-
I might even say 50.
It would at least got the kids in the theater, at least for the opening night, I think. Opening night would have been key, even if it was a bad movie for Fortnite, to make
Maybe, but
yeah.
we've been surprised before.
I mean, keep going back to Five Nights at Freddy's. That one wasn't that greatest movie.
That's the exception. Like, that's the 1 out of 20.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, because, it did work for Five Nights, but Five Nights isn't even that popular. Just for whatever reason, it really clicked with people, and people ran out to go see it.
And that movie wasn't that bad to me. I
didn't like it, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
it wasn't terrible. So, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Miracle Made. Guys, it's hot outside, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. There are just so many things that make these sheets so fantastic. We already mentioned the self-cooling properties for better quality sleep, but they're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So go to trymiracle.com/Campea. That's TRYMIRACLE.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. I don't know, guys. Break out the champagne. Borderlands has broken a record. This is not the one they wanted to break. Taking a 72% drop in weekend number 2. The movie hasn't even made $20 million. in 2 full weeks, it's not going to make back its marketing budget, let alone its production budget. It's going to go down as one of the biggest flops of all time. And the movie's bad. Don't get me wrong. The movie is bad, but it ain't the worst movie I've seen this year. And there are worse movies this year that have done better. Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.